What's up, guys? Welcome back with another video on my channel with your girl Triniti J.
Listen, seeing you got ritualistic plans in my soul of addiction.
So as you can tell by the title of the video, we're doing All-American thoughts. Like my thoughts on the new All-American season and my thoughts on the old seasons and just my thoughts on All-American, the show. That is on Netflix, new episodes. It's not sponsored or nothing, but it is streaming on Netflix if you guys want to go watch it. So yeah, but before we get into the video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn notification notify every time I post a video. And yeah, I don't like to edit long videos, so we're gonna get right into it and stop the chit chat. Okay guys, before we get into the video, I do want to do a little recap of some people who probably don't remember what happened. And if I jump into season 4 and you guys don't really know how it happened or why it happened, it's going to be very confusing when I give my thoughts. So we're just going to start from the beginning of season 1, give y'all a small little recap. It's not going to be the whole show because that will make the video super long. And I'm only here really to talk about season 4 and my thoughts on that new season. So let's get into the recap of season 1. So we all know in season 1, Spencer James, who plays for Crenshaw High, was offered, I don't want to say a scholarship, he was offered to transfer to Beverly Hills with a coach, which his name was Billy Baker. So he was offered to transfer to Beverly Hills, but it's all due to his mom. His name is Grace James. This is kind of like an intro if you guys don't know what the show's about, but I'm pretty sure if you clicked on this video, you know what the show's about. So I'm not going to pretend like you guys don't know who the characters are. So yeah. So Grace James, who is Spencer James' mother, talked to Billy, which they have a long history, but talked to Billy about transferring her son, this is a lot of names, Spencer, to Beverly Hills. So Spencer gets mad when Billy Baker talking to his mom about the offer, and his mom actually ends up persuading him to accept Billy Baker's offer, and he ended up transferring to Beverly Hills. And when he gets to Beverly Hills, he meets a guy named Asher, Jordan, JJ, Layla, and Olivia. All of them become really great friends, but in the beginning, of course, him and Asher didn't click because he knew that he was going to steal his girl Layla. Layla liked kind of Spencer in the beginning. I don't really know her emotions about Spencer in the beginning. I guess she liked them, but to me, she wasn't that interested in Asher. That's what I didn't like. She wasn't interested in Asher in the beginning. To me, she just treated him like a side piece, and when Spencer came, boom. It's like she switched up a little too much. Like, why'd you switch up that fast right when someone new came in? That wasn't right. We're gonna skip forward, jump a little bit because Spencer is playing with Beverly Hills now. Now we're gonna get into some drama because Layla and Spencer are kind of like, flirting with each other eye to eye. They start talking about their past. They start getting into more details about themselves. Layla ends up, she didn't know, but Jordan and Asher told Spencer to come to a party that he wanted him at so he could get drunk and not be good for the, I don't know if it was playoffs or a scrimmage. So yeah, that all happened, and Layla didn't know that they were planning it. Now we're gonna jump forward a bit. Asher got kicked off the Beverly Hills team because of his drunken night at prom. He was drunk at prom when he wasn't supposed to be, so ended up getting kicked off the team. And now he did something revenge to get them back, which was give Malibu their plays, and it was very hard for them to come up with new plays. But Chris, which is from Crenshaw, Spencer's old school, his old teammate on football, came back and started giving them more plays. And Olivia and Jordan ended up thinking that her and Spencer were brothers and sisters when really they really weren't. Yeah, they weren't. They weren't brothers and sisters at all. But they had us believing that. When I watched season 1, I was like, wow, they're not brothers and sisters. Like, I had really thinking that they were related. And I was about to say, Olivia, you almost did that with your brother. I was like, wow. Okay, we're going to move on to season 2. But at the end of season 2, Spencer's dad, which he left them a long time ago, gets back into their life and kind of just explodes everything. Spencer doesn't like that he was in his life because he left them when they was very young. but the reason he left was because Billy Baker and Grace James had an affair, and Spencer found that out in season 2 and was really mad. I think he was mad for, like, I understand why he was mad, but it's like, that wasn't true. It didn't affect him to me. Like, I understand your dad left, but he was gonna leave either way. Like, to me, he was gonna leave either way. If it, like, it was inevitable. You can't fix the inevitable. So he was going to leave, and Spencer James, all this built up anger, got mad at his mom, and then Billy Baker didn't want to talk to them. And it's just like, Spencer James, you have too much emotion. Just let it out, let it go. And in season 2, this is where Layla gets really depressed and her mental health is really bad. She thinks about her mother and why her mother killed herself. She took a drive and almost fell off a cliff and just admitted that she needed help before Olivia and Spencer had her, or tried to have her committed, and told her father. So it was a lot with that. Layla was a lot. Okay, I need to talk about this. My thoughts on Layla. Layla, I know she was going to a mental, like this up here, she was going to some mental, so I understand. I have to feel bad for her. I can't say these actions are unjust, but she did some real things. And the one was kissing, who did she kiss? She kissed Asher when Olivia liked Asher at that party. And it was like, why did Layla just, it was at her, Olivia's birthday party that Layla threw for her. And then kissed Asher, like, that was so mean to me. I was like, wow, that's something. And what ended up happening at the twins' birthday party, I'm gonna call them the twins for right now, because saying their names is a lot. So at the birthday party, Jordan gets a girl pregnant. So he learns that Simone ends up telling him that he's pregnant, so that she's pregnant. Yeah, this is a lot. And then Jordan is like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Then he goes to his dad, and then his dad tells Laura. Laura's kind of mad. She's like, why didn't he come to me first? I'm the mother. Clearly there's no stability here. And yeah, we're just gonna go to season 3. Okay, before we get into season 3, I forgot to say that Spencer ended up wanting to switch schools because his dad passed away. Oh wait, no. He wanted to quit football because his dad passed away. So he ended up saying he didn't want to play football anymore. I don't know why. That was the dumbest decision I ever heard Spencer made, was because his dad passed away. I'm sorry this video is like literally all over the place, but I keep forgetting to say things. And we're just going to get on to season 3 so we can hurry up and go into season 4. So I was talking about how Spencer James wanted to quit football because his dad passed away, but now he has no way to pay for college, and he's doing all these extra jobs, working in Beverly Hills, walking dogs, and doing all this. And Spencer James quitting football, he said he wanted to make his mom life so easy. By quitting football, he made his mom life so much harder. So much harder. She had to worry about him more and more. It's like, what is Spencer gonna do? Is he gonna get a scholarship? He's not playing football no more. Like, I thought you wanted to make your mom life easier, Spencer. You made it a lot harder. Okay, now I think we're on to this is still kind of season 2. Wow, a lot happened in season 2, didn't it? So Layla ended up getting committed, and she ended up meeting a girl called Cherry, I forgot her name. She was crazy though. So she ended up getting committed, and she met someone called Cherry, and they ended up becoming like very, very close friends, because when Cherry was released, she ended up visiting Layla, and it got bad. Let me tell you this, Layla seems very gullible. I don't know if she just wanted to, I don't know, because she seemed very gullible. She had her best friend Olivia tell her, I think something's wrong with Cherry. I think something's wrong. Olivia even told her when they was at, what was they? I think they was at a football game or something, and she was like, I tried to come in your house, but Cherry told me you had a headache. That wasn't even true, and she did nothing about it. Nothing. It was so irritating me when I was like, why isn't she kicking Cherry out her house? Don't you see how crazy she is? And she was like, nope, nah. I was like, get help, Layla. You need help more than Cherry. Sherry. I'm calling her Cherry. It was Carrie, huh? Oh, I'm so sorry. So now let's talk about Coop and Patience. I know I haven't talked about Patience, but Patience is Coop's girlfriend, and they ended up getting in a fight. They fight almost every episode. I'm so tired of it. Every episode, I'm like, oh, do they ever get along? Like, I don't see a time when they were getting along. If you can show me a clip, please leave it down below in the comments, because I don't know when they ever get along. So at prom, Coop got mad because Patience was hanging out with her ex-girlfriend Luna, which I think was actually unacceptable. You didn't tell Coop that your ex-girlfriend was coming in, especially your first love. That was kind of disrespectful in my way too. I would have felt a certain way too. But they always fighting, and it's annoying. I don't think that they're a good match. I really don't. They're not. So also in the season, Asher ended up taking steroids because Spencer James quit football, and he thinks he has to be better than Spencer James, and that he has to fill up to his potential. Because if you don't know, Spencer James actually took Asher's spot on the team, so he feels like, okay, now I'll have a chance since he quit, that he needs to be better than Spencer James. So he ended up taking steroids. His mom found out, and then his mom told Olivia, and Olivia ended up telling Coach Baker. So it was a lot. And then Coach Baker was like, I'll handle it. If I end up getting fired, I'll just say the steroids are mine, and if he ends up getting fired, he's okay. And I was like, wow. Coach Baker, he did do the same thing as Jordan. If you don't also remember, he changed his pee cup because Jordan was smoking and he knew he wouldn't pass. So yeah. So in the season 3, Layla is now a producer, and she's producing Coop's music. And now Patience was signed with JP, but JP ended up doing Patience wrong. So Patience ended up signing to Layla's label also. Okay, then we're gonna skip forward because Coop ended up getting shot by Mo, because Preach shot Mo. So yeah, that was a lot. And she ended up not singing anymore in her career. She kind of stopped. And now Layla is only producing Patience and not Coop anymore now. And now we're going to season 4. And also Simone and Jordan got married. They almost had a baby and they got married. And let me tell you about what happened in season 4 now. So now in season 4, let's get into my thoughts. Now. Season 4, Preach has a daughter. Her name is Amina, and Amina is destined to find out what happened to her mother and who shot her. So she thinks it's Coop. She really believes it's Coop, and she was plotting on Coop. She was plotting on Coop. And now Asher can no longer play football because he has a heart problem. I forgot the name was, but he ended up getting a heart disease, which was really sad. And I really wanted Asher to live out his dreams because he's been paying for a lot of his mistakes now, and he's still paying for it in season 4. And I was like, I feel so bad for Asher. So yeah. Now Spencer and Olivia are together. Now Spencer James did get a scholarship offer from Toledo State, but since he learned that I think one of his coaches won't be there and he was fired or something, he said, I don't want to do Toledo State no more. So Toledo State was like, okay, and if you join any other college team, you won't be able to play your freshman year. And that was a lot. But at the end of the day, Billy Baker ended up fixing it. Okay, let's get on to the juicy stuff for season 4. All of them ended up graduating. Spencer wasn't able to graduate. Well, he wasn't able to walk the stage because he admitted to a crime he didn't commit. He admitted to having a trophy stolen from Beverly Hills, trophy case or whatever. And he admitted to doing it even though one of his teammates did it. He wanted to be the hero and save the day, so he wasn't able to walk the stage. But he did graduate from Crenshaw High, and everyone had like this mini graduation for him on the beach, which was also like so cute. But well, it was so nice. So yeah, I really like that they all did that. And they ended up moving into a beach house. Well, Spencer James, JJ, Ash, and Jordan, and the rest of the girls moved in with Olivia, and then the parents moved into GW's house. It's crazy that the parents moved out of their own house. They literally let them kids take over their own house. I was like, wow. And also, Asher, since he has a heart problem, he ended up playing for Coastal California. Well, he ended up being an assistant coach for Coastal California, which is really good. And the coach that it was Coach Mr. Montez, which is what JJ called the coach. JJ now goes to Coastal California, and I forgot what the team is Jordan and Spencer play for. I think it's like GAU. I think that's it. So yeah. And then towards the end, Coop ends up telling Amina
that she shot her mother,
and she was devastated. She blew off and she was like, you're not my best friend and I hate you, basically. And then Preach ended up getting arrested. I forgot what he got arrested for. He got arrested for something, and then he ended up telling Amina now that, oh, I shot your mother. And she's like, what the heck? Laura, can we leave? And she was like, Laura, can we leave? Lori Baker was the lawyer which was representing his arrest, which was Preach's arrest. Like, my thoughts on that is like, I don't understand why Amina was so hung up on Coop getting revenge for Coop, but when she found out it was her dad, it was like, oh my gosh, I hope he's okay. Like, you're like, what? Like, I understand like Preach did it out of self-defense. Like, Preach had to choose something, Coop or Mo, and he knows Coop longer, so he knows like that's Coop. He like, that's his game. Okay, and also in season 4 we have a new character introduced, which his name is Clay, and he's a producer that is working with Layla and actually ends up liking Layla. So they end up, you know, doing stuff on the road, and he ended up catching feelings for Layla. But Layla was like, I'm not having it. I don't like you, and it was just for fun. So yeah, that was a lot. I was like, wow, you just broke his heart like that, Layla. She just ripped it out. And I was like, this girl has no resentment. Layla is a lot. Layla is a lot. That character is a lot. She's gullible. She's always mad at someone and has resentment towards someone. Sometimes it's Spencer. Sometimes it's Olivia. Sometimes it's Asher. It's always someone. And now Olivia ends up becoming a mentor for a girl named Jen, because now her sobriety test she's doing really good on. Olivia ended up not drinking anymore, so she ended up becoming a mentor to a girl named Jen. And then here comes the juicy part. Simone and Jordan ended up breaking up. Like, they ended up breaking up because they went to 2 different schools anyway. And I haven't watched the Homecoming All-American, so I really don't know what Simone was really doing there. But I watched the Homecoming episode that is on All-American, and we could see her and Damon got some, you know, they got some tension between them because they've been flirting a lot in that season, in that episode. So yeah, so Jordan was like, oh yeah, I see what's going on with you and Damon last time we was there. That's when he wanted to move to that Atlanta school. I think it's in Atlanta. And she was like, oh, so you don't have feelings, but I know, I see you two. You guys have feelings for each other. And then they ended up breaking up. So Jordan ended up being depressed and inviting different girls with him every time, which he does when he gets in a breakup, which I don't know why. Okay guys, and also what happened in this, I think it was we're gonna say this season, there is another player on the team, because they go to a college team, Jordan and Spencer. They go to a team, I think it's GUA or GAU, I forgot the name. So like I was saying, that he was playing for a GAU team, and I have to collect the clips, so that's probably why you saw a jump. But he has his own teammate, another teammate on the team. His name was Wade, and he's causing a lot of problems in the team. He's like the star player, and Jordan wants to kiss his butt so much. He wants to be friends with him. He wants to do all this stuff, but when he learned that Wade lets him down, and he's like, oh my gosh, you're not my inspiration, you're a jerk. And who had to tell him that? Layla. So Simone was right, they are together. Layla had to be like, you're letting this Wade guy like get too much of you. Like, you're doing the absolute most for him, and he's not doing anything for you. And I was like, tell him, Layla, tell him. Because I didn't like Wade from the beginning. I was like, he's sneaky. And also when he posted this photo about Olivia, and then Spencer confronted him, and Spencer just believed him because he was in a meeting. Like, that just didn't make sense, when actually he paid someone to cover him and be like, oh, I'm gonna tell Spencer you did it, but I'm gonna pay you, so you know I'm off the hook. So while all that's happening, Olivia ends up talking to her dad, and she was like, we can't let Wade get away with it. So her and her dad ended up talking to the coach of GAU, I forgot his name, but he was like, okay, yeah, we do have to do something about Wade. Wade is actually out of control. But they both have dark secrets that he doesn't want to come out, so he's just gonna kick Wade off the team. So Wade was benched from a game, I think it was against California Coastal, which is the team JJ and Asher play against. So now they're like rivals almost, which didn't make sense. If you guys remember that episode when Spencer got mad just because Asher was writing a paragraph about him or whatever, like what is that, like investigation on him or whatever he was doing, a report. He was writing a report on Spencer to see how he plays so they could win against Coastal California, and Spencer got so upset. He was so upset for no reason. I was like, you were so happy that he was writing a report. Why would you think it would be all good news? Obviously he needs it to do his coaching gig. Like, I'm so glad Ashley put himself first and not Spencer, because he would have lost his job. And I'm glad he talked to Billy Baker about it too. And also, you already know Layla, or Jordan confessed his feelings to Layla which was a lot. When they had that scene in the booth where they got locked in the studio booth, when they had that whole scene, then I was like, okay, yeah, they're great for each other. If you've seen that scene, I'll probably post a clip. It was amazing. That solidified everything. I was like, y'all need to be together. And for some reason, Grace is engaged to now the Carter, which was the principal of Crenshaw High, which is now Billy Baker. Billy Baker is the principal. Can you believe it? But he's getting married and moving to Oakland. So I'm like, Dylan and Grace won't be in season 5? I was like, wow. I really didn't like that. Even though Dylan's not much of a character in there, Grace James is. That would change a lot. Her inspiration and her powerful speeches and the way to get Spencer back in the right headspace. Spencer needs that stability or else he won't have nothing. Grace James can't move. It's gonna be bad. So then Layla dad ends up retiring and Layla thinks he's dying for some reason. And then Jordan tells Layla he's not dying. And then they went to go have a dinner together and he was like, I'm not dying, Layla, I'm retiring. And she was like, wow. And he was retiring because of a woman he met and he introduced him to Layla and Layla, they ended up clicking. We never got to see her though. And you guys do not know what happened at the end of the game where Spencer and Jordan were in the locker room. He said something about Olivia, like that skanky B word, and then ended up punching Wade and hurting his hand. Even though they ended up winning the game, which against Coastal California, it was amazing. He ended up punching his hand, so at the end of the episode, it showed that he was injured for 6 to 8 weeks, which I was like, oh my gosh, so he won't be able to play in any more games for 6 to 8 weeks. How will he be able to do this? Because it's always in players, like in every episode, it's like one of them is injured and can't play. Jordan had a concussion. Spencer got shot. Spencer had a lot. I'm not even gonna get into it, but it's always something with them. So after Wade was suspended from the team, he decided to hit up Olivia, or well, they was walking by, and he was like, I would love to make you a deal. I would love to get you all the gossip on the coach because he doesn't want to go down alone. He's like, if I'm going down, the coach is also going down with me for everything that has happened. So I'm like, what happened between them? I want to know what sneaky things they're doing. I can't wait for season 5. And then also at the end of the episode, we're left on a cliffhanger whether Olivia and Spencer would stay together. They had a lot of fights. The fight that I hated most was that Spencer acted like he didn't know nothing about Olivia. Like these new things that popped up, us viewers didn't even know these things about Olivia. They knew, they were friends from the beginning, like so close and friends, they knew everything about each other. So when they were in a relationship and they said they knew nothing about each other, I was like, what? Like since season 1, y'all knew, like it just wasn't sitting right with me. And I was like, what is this? And then at the final finale, Layla's dad ends up giving Clay his producer label and not his own daughter, Layla. I was so astonished and surprised when he did that. I was like, he's the worst father in history. And I see why Layla has mental health issues, because his dad is not okay. He has mental health issues too. Their whole family does, and it's so annoying. Like it really is. Layla deserved to have that producer label, and he's retiring. Why wouldn't you want to give it to your daughter, who's also trying to be a producer? And he actually doesn't know that her and Clay aren't really on good terms no more. So it kind of was kind of bad. Also, I want to have my thoughts on the Layla and Jordan situation. What's their couple name? Jayla? Well, their whole couple actually, like I said, when they had that little booth situation in the studio, I love them together now. And I really hope they stay together through these episodes, because I would love to see her and Layla and Olivia and Jordan be happy. You know, I don't know if I said that right, but I want to see all 4 of them be happy and all in a relationship. Like, that's my thoughts. I really do love them together. And also, I like how Billy Baker and Laura are in a great place right now. And the funny scenes that be happening between JW, is it GW or JW? GW, and, because Grandpa Willie. GW and Laura. There'd be some funny scenes, but that's gonna end today's video. I hope you guys got all my thoughts on what's season 4. Tell me your thoughts down below in the comments. What scenes didn't you like, and what scenes were your favorite? Do you like Jordan and Layla together? Do you like Olivia? Do you want Olivia to stay with Spencer, even though they had a whole Wade situation and Spencer doesn't obviously trust her? So who knows? But I'm gonna end the video off here. I might make a part 2, I'm not sure. But if you did like the video, Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn notification notified every time I post a video. And I'll see you guys in a new video. Bye guys.